Also, as for weapon, I'm going to be sitting here hoping for my usual hope of Cane of Samaria, because I really like watching people go through escape with that.
You can use this so many ways, it's always fun to see.
Uncle asking for a bad enough dude to rescue Zelda, and to be honest, at least you can tell him he's not. We also do know that he is, as usual, not going to have a sword since he didn't carry it out of the house, so that's one option out of the way right away. It's everyone's favorite, the bomb start.
Yep.
And more bombs, just to make sure.
It didn't even use any bombs yet, so that drop didn't even help them.
That is just so mean of the scene. Like, okay, you're getting a bomb start, you don't need bombs to drop and escape. Here's all the bombs. So either way, if these guys have practiced their bomb strats, which being 6-1, I'm sure they have, they're going to be able to get through escape without having to worry about any RNG drops or anything. They're going to have bombs left over for the back area. So they're in good shape here.
Yep. The ideal escape is 5 bombs plus 1 for the key red plus 1 for the back.
Jighart having a little worse luck with that first guard than SeedyV did, having to take 3 bombs to take him out. I do have to say, part of the reason I love the Samaria start and why I also enjoy watching the bomb start is because so many people have so many different methods they've developed to deal with the different weapons. You see a lot more variety in how people handle things in those 2 starts.
Like running a bomb into a guard, that's valid. Or placing a bomb using a chest as the wall.
Both of these two having a little bit of an issue in that second room. We're down to 3 bombs and 4 bombs respectively on the left and right.
There's going to be some parts for hard refill, so they don't have to worry about that part just yet.
Gotta love pod strats, which you would prefer to not have to do, but there's really not much other option with bombs. With a small key on Zelda's cell, we have gotten both of the dungeon items in the front half of Escape here, so everything in the back is going to be a actual item. I do have to say, one of the things that I wasn't sure about on the watching side going into this tournament that I've grown to actually enjoy is this entire sequence. Because it gives people who have more practice just that little slight bit of an edge at the beginning. It's not going to decide a run, not going to make a huge difference in the long term. But you kind of get an early picture of, you know, maybe who's more on their game with execution, who's a little bit more comfortable at the moment. And that 8 bomb drop.
Jighart doesn't have to worry about bombs in recoils anymore, and I mean you save and quit to South Shore on this bomb count, right?
Yeah, with SeedyV, he's going to be able to do Blind's Hut and the Well no problem, but if he doesn't get more bombs, he's going to have to get more. And that's assuming that he gets Jighart on the first try. Jighart can mess up Jighart a few times and have enough bombs to last quite a while. Now see, why couldn't that have been one chest earlier?
We can mirror back to the front if that mirror is earlier.
Does give you the interesting option of, after dropping Zelda off, just mirroring back to the front of the castle to head over to Eastern Palace, though, if you really want to do that. Both of them dealing with the final boss of Escape, the Jighart, taking about 2 bombs, so SeedyV is going to be a little bit short here in Kakariko, but Jighart is still sitting at 7. Oh, there are 3 bombs, never mind.
And a bomb back.
Now, Jighart could have used all those extra bombs to blow up that top wall there, save a little bit of time walking out of the back. But all things considered, we're talking maybe a second saved at most. Just 20 bucks in the Sanctuary, and both of them walking out, which means they're presumably both headed over to Kakariko.
We have a match check. Eastern Desert being our crystals, with Hera being vanilla red pendant.
Yep, all boring rewards. No green pendant, no red crystals, just the boring standard ones.
It looks like the Lumberjack tree is going to be a mystery until we find Boots Day.
Yep, definitely the strategy of dealing with Lumberjack tree that I personally tend to follow along with, but there is a pretty even split behind checking it right away and putting it off like this.
I mean, as long as you just don't totally forget about it, it's fine.
There was definitely a time right after I started skipping Lumberjack early that Ice Rod was there and I did everything else in the game before remembering it. That 300 drop in the Thieves' Hideout is a nice little plus. They already had money for Bottle Vendor, but that's a good down payment toward Zora's life lesson.
So Jighart scouted the 2 tiers of tree pool, tier 1 being hearts, tier 2 being 5 rupees.
Sometimes you find that really nice tree pole that you can actually make use of later in the game. Not today. Blinds out with a 20, a 50, another 20, and another 20. Woo.
Almost vanilla.
The early cape. I will say one thing no runner of this game ever wants to see, and that's cape right at the beginning of the run. A single rupee in a heart container. And another 20. Being a bottle is actually kind of nice at this point. Bomb capacity, not so much.
Maybe Sakura a little smoother, getting the CK out of the way as well.
Makes starting a little bit nicer. It's usually worth when you find a bee in a bottle too to pop open your menu, see if it's a gold bee, because you can sell that to the bottle vendor for 100 rupees, which can be a nice early boost.
But we have seen people trying to sell that, but the bee went to the statue instead. Not sure how that works.
It's hard to resist the call of Swag Duck. He's such a great little duck. And we're going to be checking the last couple things in Kakariko here. SeedyV making the play down there to go grab some bombs. Jighart not needing to. Puts them back pretty much in sync. For Sick Kid, who is rich, paying them for some medicine.
Well, we don't have to worry about Zora yet before getting a Flippers or Power Glove, because that's what unlocks Zora in Logic.
Very true. And Jighart does actually decide with that extra 300, you know what, I'll take 17 bombs.
They found 2 capacity upgrades earlier, so buying that is not going to be a waste. I mean, with no other weapons, you might as well have more bombs.
And if you want even more bombs, just do the race game for another capacity upgrade. That is 16 item locations in Kakariko, which yielded a single bottle, a cape, and a Quake medallion.
So it looks like we're doing the standard South Shore. Using the mirror, you can one enter the dam, eating the block on the way.
Just always remember, new players, don't try to do that in a dungeon. It's not fun.
Yeah, the block will disappear, and so we'll use...
A little bit more money. I'm actually surprised SeedyV went out of his way for that 50. He already had enough money to buy everything else needed for the run.
Well, maybe he wants to buy some more bombs. That 50 is 10 bombs. Surprise.
It is true, and he's going to have to use bombs on the mini Moldorms here, so he is going to go through a few of them at least. Okay, mini Moldorm, do you have the hype? I mean, glove and hookshot is pretty decent. It's not super hype, but you know, it's like a 40%.
Yep. And a one and only 10 bomb capacity upgrade, and that Power Glove actually unlocks Sora if they want to go there. I'm not sure if anyone will.
And also gives them the option of sequence breaking up Death Mountain to go clear out all of it pretty much, except for they can't fight Moldorm if they wanted to without an actual weapon, but they could do everything else up there in the light world if they wanted.
Totally. And depends on what they find, it will might as well be info about the lamp or the flute.
Oh, Jighart missing that bomb, kind of wasting a little bit of time on his way to this arrow capacity upgrade. SeedyV making his way over to Eastern Palace, and with the Link's house start, I'm assuming that's where Jighart is headed as well.
Yep. So the Rock SeedyV pickup before going to Eastern, that one has a 50-50 chance of having a bomb. He wasn't lucky enough to get that.
Jighart does take a moment to check what's on the Hylia Island, finds nothing of value.
And as the Hashra's hut, we found our Death Mountain SS, the flute.
This is where it benefits to not immediately make that sequence break. Now that sequence break probably would have paid off better than it would have if there wasn't access already, but now you got the flute, which is just lovely to have.
So we have our first route divergence, CD going straight to eastern, while Jighart is going to activate the flute and presumably go straight to Death Mountain.
Yeah, of the two, I would definitely say I agree more with Jighart's play in terms of getting that flute active, going to the boatload of chests up on Death Mountain. But I also see SeedyV's perspective of Eastern is a Sphere 1 location that generally tends to have something, so you're over here already, just get it checked.
CD finding the big key nice and early.
And shoutouts to the meme of being silent during that flute activation as a great excuse to take a drink. A real quick desert ledge check. Didn't go check Agino while over there. I mean, it's free to get back, but I like kind of getting that idea right away.
Finding a map and compass, so both Nabiki chest and Arnold's Knight will have an item. We got Jighart is trying to rescue the old man without sword.
Yeah, the hookshot makes a pretty nice guide for it if you know a little of the quirks of how it works, but gets through there no problem. And the old man gives him a little bit of his love. You know, I gotta say though, for Jighart's sprite being a high roll guard, saving the elderly from that dark cave fits with the MO of what the good guards would do.
Totally. But he's on team bad guy, no?
That's true. He's not doing a very good job being on team bad guy. Spectacle Rock was empty, and Jighart is not going to bother dipping into Hera because he doesn't have a sword or a hammer to fight Moldorm with. So he's going to go over here and check these 8 chests on East Death Mountain instead. Now, of course, it's exactly when you make that decision when you end up finding, 2 swords as the items in Hera.
Let's see what kind of item Jighart finds here.
I'm gonna hope for a lamp and a sword.
Well, I'm going to hope for something going to be on Zora, and we're not finding flippers here.
Oh, there's a moon pearl. There are your flippers.
Well, it's pretty clear where the next most dense location would be then. It's going to be the Zora domain.
If the Sea does not like giving these two a progression, it just likes sending them all over the world in circles.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead.
If I was gonna say go ahead, I was just gonna joke about Spiral Cave being slow.
Yeah, I was saying on the map, Thor's domain is right next to the Death Mountain, right? Maybe he can try jump down there. I don't know.
I mean, you actually can jump right down there, but then you're into major glitches, and then then you're cheating, and you don't want to worry about major glitches. You're gonna take the long way around.
I mean, with Fluid, it's not even going to be that long away.
We need Breath of the Wild mode, where you can just climb down the mountain.
I'm not sure Link to the Past can handle that, but who knows?
Given this game's difficulties in handling two things at once, I'm almost certain it could not handle that. Hobo had nothing except a little bit of love as well.
Seedy is also not going to bother with Tower Hera.
I'm gonna laugh when it ends up in Hammers and Hera. They made the right decision, and the Seed just said, haha.
I mean, for that to be a show, we'll need to have some debate here in Zora's domain.
Well, we get the Ice Rod. That could be important, maybe.
I mean, it's a decent secondary weapon. I mean, frozen enemies are easier to bomb.
That is very true. If there's a good stun prize like, 4 or 8 bombs, then you just get infinite bombs that way.
Or, some small magic, you can infinite freeze that way.
Jighart, why did you just use up so many bombs killing those mini Moldorms when you have the hook shot? And Zora's domain was a red herring. Okay, so let's see. Let's say you go wherever you have to go and you find Hammer. Do you just immediately make the play to Swamp?
I'll check the darkroom map first. Maybe. It's a full clear anyways. And it has 6 items, but I would still do Hype Cape for that.
Yeah, Hype Cave on the way, but I feel like regardless of Crystal or Pendant, if you do get Dark World access via Hammer here, the game has given you every item needed to clear a dungeon that requires a lot of stuff. It's probably worth diving into. More bombs from Regina, which means our progression is in Tower of Hera. Oh, the irony. Jighart, still not wanting to risk going into Hera without a weapon kill Moldorm, is going to go walk through Eastern Palace and get the same level of disappointment SeedyV got just a little while ago.
Yep. So we went from a dungeon he does not have a weapon to kill the boss, to the dungeon he does not have a weapon to assist the boss. To fair, it's one more item here in Eastern.
You can always access the boss, you just can't kill him. It just makes that first little room with the hard hat beetles kind of confusing to work your way through. Hookshot makes it a little bit better, though. These two should reconverge on Hera here shortly. SeedyV doing the flippers checks while Jighart is going through Eastern Palace, after which they will have checked all the same things as each other. At this point, these two are just retreading ground. We know neither of them are going to get anything they actually want. Well, I mean, SeedyV is going to get the Ice Rod, which he's going to want if TR is a crystal, but early Ice Rod means TR is a pendant, right?
Yeah, totally. We still have 2 ice pendants out in the wild.
And I think SeedyV is going to end up making it up to Hera a little bit before Jighart. Not a large margin, but he's going to have a bit of a head start up there.
But SeedyV still also has Agena to check if he wants to check that before Hera.
Oh, that's true. He has not been down that way yet. I'm used to seeing people avoid, you know, a swamp, ice palace, Aghanim at all costs. Not so often you see two runners who put off Hera quite so long when they haven't gotten anything.
I mean, when they put it off, they still have the Eastest Mountain to check, and after they check that, it's an isolated location with potentially no item whatsoever.
Very true. I'm not saying it was the wrong play. I'm just saying it's not something you see very often.
Yeah, it's not.
And SeedyV is going over to check Agena, so quite the contrary, Jighart is going to have the head start to go see what item is in Hera. So what do you think? Are we going to get a sword and a lamp? Are we going to find a hammer? Are we going to find something entirely different?
I'm just thinking some bow for more irony.
The bow would be a pretty comedic moment. I was thinking either bow or book myself. And
Yep.
Confirmed, T-Rock pendant.
Yep. And Swamp is a crystal, the crystal number 6, so absolutely going there after having a hammer.
And then to round out the map check, we got Crystal 5 in Skull Woods and Green Pendant in Misery Mire. That pendant loadout means that potentially no medallions are needed and the Cane of Samaria is not required. That could severely hasten the rate to go. Oh, hey, Titan Smiths.
Yep, that's progression, alright. So that's our Dark Desmond SS and Dark World SS and My Era SS. Which means you can SS Swamp as well, but it's going to be a longer walk.
Okay, I can't say I agree with what Jighart just did there. He took the time to go get that big key out of the chest up there, and then immediately noped out of Hera without going to check for the other item. And then fluted away from the mountain without going to check Dark Death Mountain. Huh.
Wow, his opponent agrees with him.
I am quite surprised that neither of them went to go check Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave. They could have gone over there, checked those 6 items super quick, mirrored back to the light world, and floated over to Kakariko afterwards. That is a unexpected decision, to say the least.
Probably think the author has found a missed oak 10 minutes ago.
That is very possible. Okay, my opponent definitely went to Dark Death Mountain right after finding this 10 minutes ago. Let's just skip that and hope there's nothing there.
So with the whole world wide open, with Lab Titans with Doggo SS plus Flippers, let's see what else can we have to acquire an academy here.
We did get a little bit of divergence with Jighart heading up to Skull Woods, SeedyV heading down to the Village of Outcasts. Now we're going to go see what's in Bumper Cave, see if that cape is maybe useful up here. Nope.
More money.
Now Jighart heading the same way over to Village of Outcasts as SeedyV goes to check everyone's favorite game, the digging game.
What? That's a good digging game. That's 2 digs.
That is a pretty quick digging game. At least they didn't make you waste a whole lot of time getting that big 20.
Looks like we're having the purple chest world tour coming up after the frog.
A solid play. I know Jighart took the time to open Thieves Town. I'm curious if he's going to dip in there. And he is. And that is a kind of bold move to dip in here without Hammer when you got a lot of other places left open.
Oh.
Okay, the blacksmiths.
Too bad you cannot use them. You walk in the purple chest.
It's like the ultimate taunt. Look at these shiny new boots. Now don't use them for a little bit, okay? Oh, and a cane of Samaria in Thieves Town. Now, depending on Jighart's decision here, now he is able to go deeper in Thieves Town if he's willing to gamble that the big chest is nothing. But it appears he's not. He's gonna leave. That cane is certainly a nice find. It might be needed for GT. It might be needed to get some items out of pendant dungeons. But SeedyV definitely won the routing game in that little segment of time.
And that is also our weapon to beat blind if he wants to, but he does not want to do that just yet.
Yeah, going all the way without the hammer is usually a pretty big risk. Okay, with a heart container, 20 bucks, some bombs, another heart piece. Pretty much nothing.
Man, where are our progression items? Are they actually in the game?
I'm calling that hammer in Hera big chest. And just a piece of heart from the purple chest, so that was a long walk for nothing.
And I guess is the reason not going to swamp just yet because you cannot do anything to August.
Not to mention you get locked out after the first chest, so that's a big That's a big time gamble for one item.
You need a hammer for that. Forget it all the time.
Jighart over here just not listening to the blacksmith. He's using his brand new boots anyway. SeedyV in these last couple of Village of Outcasts checks, and then we'll see where he decides to go.
Maybe with those brand new boots, he can check the lumberjack tree into Bumper Cave, into Graveyard Ledge, and the boots locations. That sounds like a route, right?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that's exactly what he's going to be doing, taking advantage of all that nice little lineup of locations there. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Is there an important item in the lumberjack tree? Nope.
Nope. And that officially puts Aga alive because with Swamp being a crystal, a 5-6 crystal pyramid berry cannot have the hammer.
Yep, there is zero hope of the Aghanim dream anymore. Now the other dream chat loves, there's still a slim amount of hope for. Not very much. It's pretty much, let's see, pedestal height index is pretty much just the bow.
You got pretty much everything else. Oh, hammer! Hello.
Yay, hammer! So that hammer means Thieves Town you can go into safely without any concern. You can go in and do all of Swamp. You can now have a weapon to... No, you can't clear Desert yet because you don't have a fire source. So yeah, it pretty much opens up those two, and it'll put Ice Pals on their minds once they find either Bombos or a Fire Rod.
We have Ether on Mystery Mire. Hope we never find that.
Yep, as a runner, if you see a medallion on a pendant, mire, or T-Rock, you're hoping you find it in Ganon's Tower.
Also, look at this guy, so rich he says no to a 300.
Jighart just checking every dungeon he comes across, regardless of if he can complete it or not, dipping into Desert as well now. I feel like of these two, SeedyV is playing a lot more comfortably, so to speak. I feel like dipping into all these non-completable crystals is a risk you take when you don't feel great about how the seed has gone so far, and you want to find that thing your opponent's not going to find as quick. Whereas SeedyV is kind of doing the more, I'm going to go check these quick locations and kind of follow the logic, and it has paid off for him a little bit better so far.
Totally.
Of course, we still have the question of what's on Dark Death Mountain. Those Popos are not amused by the Samaria blocks.
Well, Catfish just gave her the mushroom, so let's see what CD will do with it. It's just going to turn it in. It does not have the Samaria from Thief's Tongue yet, so it cannot big powder that. And his saving quit is so long ago, I don't even remember.
Yeah, definitely not going to be seeing any of the hard reset strats here. Definitely going to just stick with his decision. Hopefully it won't come back to bite him. So you're in SeedyV's position. You're going to go check my area, as we see him doing now. If you're going to go into a dungeon, do you pick Swamp or Thieves Town? You can full clear both of them. One's a 5-6 crystal, one's a regular crystal. So you need to do both eventually anyway.
I mean, at current equipment, 5-6 crystal is not exactly that relevant, especially other is on Skull Woods, so I would do Thief's Tongue first to see if I can find a fire rod there.
I think that's pretty reasonable. I think in SeedyV's case, I could see maybe if he's got a little bit of that paranoia going for the swamp play, just as the opponent hasn't done this yet play. But I think Thieves Town is probably the better play, so to speak.
Also, while we are talking, Jighart found the bumbles, I think, in Desert Pass, which opens an ice pass for him. So if he's really desperate with a newfound hammer, he can go there.
Everybody loves... Actually, no, he can't go there, because he doesn't have a sword to use that Bombos medallion yet.
Oh, totally.
He's saved from making that horrible decision to have to make as a runner by not having a sword. He's going to go back into Thieves Town, and this is kind of where his routing is going to... Well, SeedyV is making the dip into Desert, which I don't blame him. He was right here checking the mire area. But this is kind of the first part of where Jighart's routing is going to start to bite him, as he starts going back into here, eventually back to Skull Woods, so on and so forth. And SeedyV is going to be at least single-dipping Thieves Town, maybe Skull Woods since he hasn't checked in there yet.
Jighart's finding that the stun price is the heart that's going to help him, especially on this green mail.
Yeah, Stun Prize Heart is one of the nicer options to have, right up there with some bomb drops and magic drops. And if I recall, we did get 2 items out of Thieves Town up front, so we should have 2 more to find.
CD realizing he's not having a fire source, just in time.
Yeah, that was a real fortunate time to notice that. And heading into Dark World, presumably the Thieves Town play. These store for either a hammer or Cane of Samaria blind, which neither of which are the nicest thing to have to do.
Cane of Samaria is a little better because he can stay at the range for that, but it's also a little slower.
if you're practiced well enough with it, they're both not terrible, but you really prefer to have a sword and just go with the standard script to the fight that people always use.
And with maiden chest being error, we confirms that the big chest has a small key.
Yep, which instantly means that, logically speaking, Blind was hammerlocked, so if they had gone up here and killed Blind before getting the hammer, it would have technically been a sequence break. Flint and steel are a good match. Okay, Blind.
This looks like a good script right now.
Yeah, through the first two phases, no problem, just needs one more. There it is. Samaria is in logic as a weapon to fight Blind, but with worst possible key usage and the small key in the big chest, you could key lock yourself without hammer. So the reason I brought that up was if there was something progressive on Blind, then that could have given them some information on Hammer's location if they had gone there before getting it, but Blind just had a big 20, so it didn't end up mattering at all.
Come back for the one last location, the pet cave. Even though they have a boot without sword, trying to hammer dash will only net you a buck.
A number of times that people don't know that, or the Moon Pearl being required for the water walk, because there are such obscure little meaningless requirements that really don't make sense to anyone.
Probably not even to the developers.
Okay, Jighart looks like he's gonna make the play here.
Yeah,
looking to...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, with that hammer, he can actually kill targets now, so go in.
Yep, Swamp Palace is the most item-dense dungeon in the game. It's just so much better to do in Go mode that people tend to put it off as long as humanly possible.
Seedy running a little short on heart, but he did buy 2 blue potions when turning the mushroom, so if he remembers to use them, he'll be alright.
So I do have to say, dipping into Swamp, Crystal or no, before checking Dark Death Mountain, is still weird to me. I like the swamp play in its own right, but you got as many items as you're going to find in swamps sitting up there on Dark Death Mountain that are very quick and easy to access. I would definitely go there first. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot for a while that Death Mountain hadn't been fully cleared yet. And then went, oh, yeah, that's still a thing. So let's see, quick rundown of what we still need to beat this game. We need at least 2 swords, a fire rod, and a bow. And that's it.
Yep.
I'm still
Logic wants the lamp too for Pod and Eastern, but the runner student need that.
Yeah, when you're talking about two people who won 6 and 1 in the Swiss stage, I can't imagine them really needing the lamp for Pod or Eastern. And SeedyV is doing the thing. Let's see if they have lost a bunch of time by not just doing this when it was super convenient earlier.
Jighart is going left side first.
100% support that. You've already found the map and compass. You know there are going to be 2 items over here. Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, he didn't follow D.
Hey, it's the lamp!
So let's put Heroes full clearable.
If it also makes Desert full clearable, we could go in there and kill the boss. We already got both items out of it, I believe.
Yep. It's big 20 on the torch and the bumbles in the big key chest, so I think they'll only go back after they have found everything else.
Now we get Hookshot Cave. There's a sword! Wow.
It's been waiting here all along.
Right next to the silver arrows for whenever they find the bow. So, you know, the silvers don't matter right now, but a sword and a fire source, if they had had that, you know, 20 minutes ago when they were up on Death Mountain the first time, well, the second time, that would have been pretty nice to have.
And now Ice is actually open to them right now.
Yes, it is, and SeedyV heading straight into Spike Cave while he's up here, gonna knock this out as well. We get a heart container in the first chest of left side swamp. Oh, why?
CD pulling the cave early because there's a delay on activation. So if he pull out the cave a little too late, he will die before he actually can use it.
So I don't know if you caught what was just found on Jighart's side on left side swamp, but we got the Ether Medallion, which puts us a fire rod away from a certain location being in Logic.
I mean, you can certainly go there early. It just might be locked out. And that Ether also put another location that has 8 chests but only 2 items in Logic.
Oh yes, I was talking about the location that I put in Logic that, you know, involves having 3 pendants hanging around your neck.
I was talking about one of the...
I'm just an evil man and I'm starting to feel that bow on pedestal hype, because this seed has been horrible about progression.
I mean, it always can be pedestal until it cannot.
SeedyV probably going to use some Ice Rod strats on Lamolus here. And he's not going to have enough shots to kill them all, and then he's going to have to go to Pure Fighter Sword, which is not ideal.
Jighart notably gets the big key on the waterfall chest going straight to Argus. He knows the big chest is an item. I don't know whether he'll come back for that or not.
Oh no, not Fire Sword strats, he's doing Hammer strats. And yeah, I'd imagine he'll come back in for the big chest if there's nothing important on Argus. Very nice dealing with Lamolus there by SeedyV. He gets a compass, he gets his second crystal of the run, 55 minutes in. And you know, with something like that, he's not feeling great about where he's at.
Well, at least he does not have to worry about Pinder's daughter just yet. He will, but not yet.
And he is now making the same play Jighart just made, so no time lost by making that swamp play. It'll be a little bit easier for him though with a sword and... well, really the sword's really the only difference. Shoutouts to this Ice Rod Phase 2 Argus.
A little hard to hit with that delay on shooting with Argus this fast moving, but got him down.
And Argus dropping 10 arrows, saying, "Don't you wish you had a bow?"
I mean, City sure would wish he had a bow. Jighart, not yet. He does not have the silver.
And he's headed back in for that big chest. We'll see if there was any value to Swamp other than letting you into Misery Mire and Turtle Rock.
So the new thing about this new version is that the second room which Jighart just go past is always flooded. Once you flood it, it does not deflood, so it's a little faster to come back in.
It is a fantastic change. Jighart releasing the bee, going to buy some potions. Where are you headed next? Okay, headed up Dark Death Mountain. He's gonna get his sword and his silver arrows here soon.
But what does the magic, the potion come to play if he only wants to do the Death Mountain stuff?
Could be for Spike Cave. Or he might dip T-Rock while he's up here with that Ether Medallion, and you're gonna get kicked out pretty fast if the Fire Rod's not required.
True. I think Spike Cave is a good call, because with all three medallions, you know you can go to Turtle Rock once you find the sword.
He is heading up this way in the Light World, entering at the Turtle Rock portal, but won't quite be able to open that dungeon. He gets the news that Turtle Rock also required a left side swamp.
So the thing about the Crystal Switch SeedyV just hit is that with Spider Sword you barely not reach the switch, but with Master Sword onwards you can hit this through the wall.
You have one of those easy to forget things that, you know, that sword is just a tiny bit shorter, and sometimes that actually makes a difference in how you have to do things. Now the ultimate question, does Jighart head right back over and open up T-Rock with that sword?
And what does SeedyV do after finding the bomb ether in Swamp after August?
Jighart making pretty much the same play SeedyV did. Also not going to go check Hera while up here, just going to go straight to Spike Cave.
They must be allergic to Hera or something.
I mean, with that sword, Ice Palace is open. It's a full clearable crystal. I would probably choose to do that before Hera, honestly, but Hera is such a quick check.
Go to 6, Mystery Myers.
Okay, so he's making a play on Green Pendant Misery Mire.
Or he's just here to get a Desert Pistol for whatever reason.
Yeah, looks like that it, which may even be a matter of take some time to think. You know, go kill this boss I can kill. Give me some time where I don't have to think about what I'm doing. SeedyV not waiting to come back in, he's just gonna go right back upstairs to open up that big chest. Okay, so now SeedyV is going to be coming out of Swamp, probably just briefly after Jighart gets done with Lamolus if he has a relatively clean fight. At that point, they're both going to be in the same spot progression-wise. They're both going to have same options on the table. Someone's probably going to make a better choice.
I think they both done the same thing as well. Other than Jighart, other than SeedyV did the catfish.
So where would you head next if you were these guys? Would you make the play on Mire, make the play on T-Rock, head into Ice Palace, or just head over to a little bit easier location like Pod to go check over there?
At this point, with Bo and Farah away, I think Ice is the most obvious play.
I think I'm with you on that. As much as Fighter Sword, Fire Rodless, Ice Palace sounds awful, it's probably the safest bet. It's probably the one that's most likely to give you what you need.
Well, on my skill level, I would go to 2 for a few potions first before getting in.
Jighart has decided, I'm right here. Mire's a green pendant. Let's go. So this is a little bit of gamble. This is something that, if you aren't making some type of gamble in these 1 versus 1 races, you're putting yourself at major risk. So he's saying, Myers a pendant. I don't know if I have to do it, but it's 3 items in here. Let's go see what's going on. Still really pulling for that bow on pedestal.
Well,
There's half our puzzle.
and opens up the whole new dungeon for the other half. A
Okay,
whole new
now.
pendant.
Yep, a whole new pendant indeed. And Jighart saying, you know what, that fire rod unlocks Skull Woods, which is another 5/6 crystal. It makes Ice Palace easier to clear. I'm taking it and running. SeedyV checking the pyramid and then heading down to the Palace of Darkness.
With Spyro being where it was, we'll see if we can find anything here very soon.
We'll also see if the dungeon is bow locked, and if so, how he reacts to that, whether he tries to bottle glitch it or says, okay, I'm out. But either way, this could be where the bow is. It could give him a sword or so that could be difficult, or difficult to find later. But we at least know he's not going to find all that he needs here.
I think CD used both his potions in Thieves Town, so he might not have a potion for the glitch. I'm not sure if he might bought another.
But doesn't matter anyway, with the key right away, he is free to explore most of the dungeon. There's still a chance of it being bow locked in the middle. If you kind of play your keys to learn about the bow lock, you can figure that out pretty quickly.
With the compass being there, we know the backside is going to be bow locked because you waste your, maybe not. Depends on big key chest. Well, that's a bow lock.
Yep, an early bow-locked pod, which is actually super valuable information. And to answer a question in chat on why not potion glitch, which I know is from a very experienced runner, so I'm just answering this mainly for other people. But when you're a bow and a fire rod away from go mode, skipping past the requirement of one of those is probably not the most profitable decision to make, instead of following the logic and trying to find out where that item would be to begin with.
And meanwhile, Jighart just hammered the moss down, getting his second 5/6 crystal.
Yep, a very nice moth fight. Anytime you have to do hammer moth and you actually win, it is very nice. But didn't get his second item, so he's gonna go check this really annoying out of the way chest down here.
At least with Mirror, it's not as bad. Oh!
It's the bow! The Meyer play had almost all the answers. There's still one notable thing he needs for go mode, but he has just jumped to a commanding lead in this race.
Yep, With that bow pickup at 1 hour 9 minutes and 30 seconds, Jighart has entered the go mode. Well, he still needs a sword, but he can collect all 7 crystals and look for a sword in Ganon's Tower as well.
Yep, not quite go mode. And sometimes the sword can be awful to try to locate. So we'll see how this goes. We'll also very soon be seeing the rest of that bow-locked pod. So with that sword missing, Jighart is in a very annoying position as someone running this game. You want to get done with this game fast. You want to skip as many locations as you can so that you can gain some time on your opponent. But at the same time, you know you need at least another sword, and if you run right by one and your opponent doesn't, it could cost you the race. You kind of have to find this delicate balance of checking extra stuff versus just moving along. It's really annoying.
Well, the good news for Jighart is the go mode on pod and Eastern might as well be not go mode most of the time, so he could easily run across the sword doing that.
Yep, and SeedyV is making the play into Ice Palace. He may find a sword here. He's not going to find either of the other 2 items he needs. But he's making a play that is keeping him moving forward in the seed, which is what he really needs to do before making that Mire play.
Yep, doing the crystal is almost never a waste of time, but when your opponent goes on it, it's a little, sometimes not, but you wouldn't know that.
If the wonders of not being able to watch your opponent in randomizer races means that you really have no idea what to expect. The dot done could drop in a minute, you know, a super fast jet seed, and you might be surprised, but then you would watch it back and be like, oh, that's not how that happened.
Jighart just showed us one of those Kingdom Smarts just done with that punt to the crystal switch.
There's the big key. He is going to go down here, grab a couple more chests at least. We'll see if he checks everything or if he starts skipping any chests in here in pod. He's skipping the harmless hellway, but that's a small key in there.
Yep. You can deduce that there are at least 4 small keys in the lower part. We have only seen 3, so that means big key chest is a small key, and having 2 keys leaving the dark basement means one for this door and one for Helmut's door, means the hellway is also a small key.
Yep, you can save yourself a surprising amount of time in pod by just knowing how the key logic works. Also, Jighart does nab a fairy in a bottle in the big chest, which isn't super important, but could be, you know, pretty nice later. He's still on green mail with Fighter Sword.
That switch hitbox sure is wonky.
So if SeedyV were to leave Ice, go directly to Mire, peace out immediately after the Fire Rod, and go to Skull Woods, I would say that he's still in the race, but he needs to make that decision immediately out of Ice, or else it's going to be very quickly downhill.
He would still be in striking distance. It's still not looking good for him, but it will still be, well, easier for him to catch up.
Yeah, at least leaves the door open that way. And I gotta give major props to Jighart for making that Mire play when he did. That was a gamble for sure, and you know, sometimes it's the gambles that pay off, and it paid off in spades for him. Face off against our dear friend Helmasaur. 17 hits with the hammer to the mask, followed by likely a silver arrow to the jewel on his head. That'll be it. And SeedyV about to embark on one of the most annoying boss fights you can run into. Cold Stare with no fire rod and a hammer.
Which how he brings the blue and the red to this fight. With Spider Throw, you cannot even slash the Cold Stare, you have to hammer or spin it.
Yeah, but as you see from those hugs there, Cold Stare does 4 hearts worth of damage on green mail. So you can't take a whole lot of hugs before you're in very serious trouble.
Although he's on a very good amount of decent amount of heart with 13, which means he takes 3 hugs before having to use that potion.
If you just gotta be a little bit careful since you can't menu while a puffball is exploding, you gotta be a little bit cognizant of that when you're getting those killing blows. Down to 1 puffball and down to 0 puffballs. Very nicely done. Jighart now in Eastern Palace for his 6th crystal. He has already cleared everything out but the boss here, unless Armos has a sword. Then, you know, he's not going to be getting what he needs here, or a nice palace. And we'll be seeing him climb into GT without a sword, which is interesting.
It happens from time to time, it's always nerve-wracking.
Okay, so here's a hypothetical for you. You get up to Ganon's tower, you still got Fighter Sword, you know there's 1 item left in Tower of Hera upstairs somewhere. You already have the big key. Do you make the play to mirror over and check that 1 item in Hera before heading into GT?
No. Maybe after the big Ganon's Tower big key I would consider that, but before, no way.
I think it a little bit depends on how I felt in the race. If I felt pretty behind, I might make that play, as my opponent will have searched GT for this sword. So let me go for what they didn't do and see if it pays off. But yeah, for the most part I agree, GT is the better play. How awful would it be, though, if there was 1 sword on a tablet, 1 as the 2nd item in Tower of Hera, and 1 as the 2nd item in Misery Mire?
Man, they wouldn't even know that because they don't have the book. Well, SeedyV is climbing a mountain for your Hera 2nd item, so we're going to know about that at least.
Yep, and I'm kind of concerned that he's gonna try to make the TR play. And if he does, I really hope he gets Fire Rod locked very quickly.
mean, he must be feeling behind after both clearing eyes for nothing.
Yeah, it depends on his perception of the seed, you know. Maybe he thinks his opponent is going to be doing all the same stuff as him, and they probably full cleared ice too, because why not? It's full clearable crystal. Unfortunately for him, his opponent made a very good gamble.
Good point.
Now, Jighart checked that Pengator room. He'll probably check the Freezor room lately. I would be surprised if he checks much else in here.
Well, the first chest is a big key, so he would check the big chest as well.
And SeedyV gets the map and compass upstairs in Hera. Trolldorm is either going to have the item or the small key for the basement. Okay, Trolldorm, just be nice and give him the item. Nope.
Well, at least he's behaving nice on the movement.
Yeah, he tried to be a nice guy, he just didn't make it all the way there. Down to the basement SeedyV goes. Gonna take a little bit of a coffee break, gather his thoughts a little bit.
More likely can be a mental vote on whether going to Turtle Rock or Mystery Mire.
I feel like when you're up on Death Mountain already for Hera, your move is to head over to T-Rock, and Jighart is gonna full clear ice. He's not gonna make that gamble with the swords in GT. This is the kind of thing that when you're in a best of 3 series against an opponent, you kind of pay attention to before match 2, before match 3. You know, CD sees Jighart go through and full clear looking for a sword. Maybe he knows next time a sword for go mode means that his opponent isn't going to skip any locations and risk anything. He can play looser and make some time up. There are little things like that that you can try to pick out about your opponent in the best of 3. It's a little bit different from how you play the single matches that we had for the past several weeks in Swiss.
Yep. And looks like CB is going to play the Turtle Rock play. The best case scenario is to find the sword.
Also, yeah, Rubel pointing out a good thing here is that Jighart may just feel like he's very far ahead, like that Mire gamble was such a big payoff that his opponent is way behind, which is accurate, and just be playing the extra safe game solely due to that feeling like he's pretty safe. Jighart gonna have a far easier time with this fight because of that handy dandy fire rod.
Fire Rod does Golden Sword add damage, limit use, but he has potions to extend that. Well, that's a fast Fire Rod lock.
Yep, that is the best situation that SeedyV could hope for. He doesn't know it, but now go to mine. Do the thing.
Meanwhile, we have the 7th crystal dropped for us die, which means time for the Dance Tower big key guess again. From 1 to 22, which location do you think the Dance Tower big key will be? Notably, even with the big key, we are still not in go mode.
So where are you gonna guess?
I'm guessing nice and early, like a 3, and they have to find a scout the 4 basement for source anyways.
Yeah, I was thinking equally evil. I was thinking of guessing 1. You know, just that instant big key, small key right next to it, the God GT, and you can't take advantage of it. Now, important question for SeedyV in terms of how soon he's going to be able to finish this run. Does he mirror out after Fire Rod, or does he go look for the second item? He's going to stay and explore Mire. Now, if there's a sword here, there is an off chance that could be enough to make a major difference. But no. No. He's not sure if he wants to leave or not. He's at least going to check this chest.
Small key, as expected.
I enjoy that he equipped the mirror and then was like, do I really want to? And we'll be cutting off the game here momentarily when Jighart enters into GT. Looks like most people are done guessing by now, but if you have any last minute guesses, now would be the moment. Jighart did indeed bail after finding the Fire Rod. Chest number 1, small key. Chest number 2, another small key. And SeedyV still searching through GT, hoping for something. A shovel on the torch. Jighart grabs it just in case it leads to a sword. Oh!
Ooh.
It was actually there! The second item in Mire was a sword. How much time Jighart would have saved without that mirroring out?
Maybe not that much. Go mode. Maybe a go mode ice. Maybe he'll find a sword here.
Gets a blue mail, a heart piece. If he does not find a sword in here, that could actually be a huge pickup. Seventh chest is a book. That could lead to a sword.
Chest number 8, a heart piece.
This race is stupidly tense for how far ahead Jighart is until he finds a sword.
Because he is not going back to Swamp Mire for that sword. That's pretty much guaranteed.
$50 there, and trying to remember where we are at in count. I believe that was 9.
Yeah, I think that's 9.
So chest 10, 11, 12, and 13 coming up. That does sound right, with Bob ending up 14. Well, there's the big key. The big key in chest number 10, and still no Master Sword in Ganon's Tower. I do not know how to pronounce the name of our winner there, so I'll just go with our winner being, or the winner, our first sub or supporter to guess correctly being Modus Pone 3NS. Not sure how that's actually meant to be pronounced, but that's hopefully decently close enough.
That looks like Jighart is going to be bumping every chest from now on if it does not contain a sword.
Don't blame him. He's got some Silver Arrows Ice Armor, so that's not bad at least. Half magic, 5 bomb capacity, heart piece. No swords so far in the basement. He's gonna go check the big chest.
At least the help is against Ganon fight, but now he won't.
Blue potion is nice to have. It doesn't help you kill Ganon though.
Meanwhile, SeedyV just clutch killed Masula with 1 heart left. That's his 5th crystal. He only has part in his turn to go. And he actually is in go mode after the bulk pickup.
Okay, now that's interesting. After Jighart has spent the time checking every chest along the way, he decided not to go to the compass room on the right of GT to check those chests. That's risky. If there are 2 swords in there, that could very well put SeedyV in the lead. I have never seen a race where one runner had 5 crystals, one runner was heading into the gauntlet, and it felt like anyone's game. Jighart has...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, that depends on where Jighart goes next after this gauntlet for looking for sword. There isn't exactly a lot of place for him, and most of them are up here on Best London.
Yep, and the most terrible solutions for Jighart would be either GT right side or the or deep in T-Rock, because either of those I think might just give SeedyV time to catch up. And he's having a little bit of trouble here in the gauntlet, probably not used to doing it with Fighter Sword. Not many people are. Oh!
He has a fairy.
He does, but you hate to use it so early in the gauntlet.
Especially after you already pulled out the potion.
To be clear to those of you watching, the gauntlet is not easy. It's even harder when you have a Fighter Sword. You don't really practice coming up here with anything less than a Master Sword all that often.
Yep. So in that situation, if I were him, I would use my motto that is bundles everything.
It is certainly an option. He just had a very nice 0 cycle on Lammola. SeedyV has gotten his big key, is headed on the way to Helmasaur. After that, we'll have a quick mirror over to Eastern to kill the Armos Knights for crystal number 7 and be on his way to GT as well.
The good thing for Jighart is that the big key is in random rooms, which means SeedyV is still going to spend some amount of time in Ganon's Tower.
Yep, and as long as he clears on his way up here, he doesn't have to go back up the tower. The pyramid will be open, he can just head straight there. So he will have that going for him.
So SeedyV pick out a big key, but it's missing a small key to Helmasaur.
Oh, that hurts. That is such a silly, easy thing to forget that you don't have. Since there are so many odd small keys, you just assume you have some. Okay, moment of truth approaching for Jighart. First, we have these two chests. Card piece. And 20 bucks. He is not picking up the key off that mini Helmasaur. That could actually come back to bite him a whole lot if he needs to do right side GT for a sword. It's unlikely he needs to, but if he does, that could be a very, very poor outcome. Okay, second to last chest is a compass. He's got one more chance in GT.
Oh, Speedy didn't even have the big key, he just autopilot.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, the last hope. And he takes a fall. I think he was trying to walk around that chest as a joke, and didn't realize that it would put him too close to the edge. So now he gets to fight Moldorm again, yay! And now Trolldorm says, oh, you gave me another chance, did you? The chest only stays there if you have opened it, Chad. Since he didn't open it, it is gone. And Trolldorm is just hanging out there in the corner, nice and safe.
Wow. Just wow.
And then immediately knocks him down. This guy is like, you're gonna give me another chance, I'm going to make this awful for you. Oh, I feel bad for Jighart, but this is kind of entertaining in its own right.
Yeah. Alright, Moto down. Hopefully for real this time.
Moldorm 3 has been defeated. And there's no sword. No swords in GT unless they are on the right side, which is the only location Jighart has skipped.
So the location Jighart has not yet checked includes the whole Turtle Rock, the right seconds tower, the one item in Mire plus the green pendant, the pedestal, and I think it's the catfish. Did you check Graveyard Ledge?
No one has checked Graveyard Ledge yet. We also have Pyramid Fairy on the table that no one's checked, which would be a really convenient place for a sword, honestly.
Yep.
Really, it's all down to RNG at this point. If he can find a sword quicker than SeedyV, can kill Armos and get through GT, he's got this in the bag. But if he cannot, because RNG is mean, then this is SeedyV's chance. He needs to play smooth for a while.
Oh yeah, there's tablets in play, but that does not help him because you need the Vesper sword to claim those. If you check those, the swords will just be taunting him.
Just a quick shout out for that Aghanim fight, which was pretty nice. He got a nice triple there to wrap it up. And now he goes on his adventure around the world in search of the legendary Sword of Evil's Bane.
Sounds quite fitting, actually.
I feel like a lot of people who played Breath of the Wild probably went on that quest right at the end of the game as well. Like, where is this Master Sword? It's gotta be here somewhere. Okay, so he's doing Pyramid Fairy first. That is a play I 100% agree with. If it has a sword, you are literally right next to Ganon when you get it.
Yep, and I don't think you check the pyramid itself either, so you can check that and go into Catfish if it doesn't pans out.
Now see, if he didn't check the pyramid, then I would mainly question why he didn't go check it before mirroring out and floating away. But...
oh, maybe he did then.
I don't recall. I'm just would be kind of surprised by that. But at the same time, he just cleared GT and didn't find a sword. He's probably not tilted. Let's put it that way.
If he just claimed his 7th crystal, he will go to Gas Tower now. Let's see. If he goes left side with no right side shenanigans, he'll be seeing it at chest number 10 as well.
Okay, Pyramid Fairy, we have 20 bucks and we have 100 bucks. No sword in Pyramid Fairy. See, he's gonna take a moment to buy some potions. If it keeps him alive and he needs them, that's a good play. If it turns out unnecessary, he's wasting a precious window of time that he has been granted by the RNG gods. So if SeedyV decides to go right with the 2 small keys at the start of GT and we find 2 swords there, I would say that would be enough to decide that Jighart is never going to get a sword in time.
He's trapped in the wall.
Good old accidental wall clipping. He jumps right back out inbounds. It's not... I mean, it doesn't matter because he gained nothing from it, but there's that moment of panic when you're like, oh, I'm in a wall. Sees his mushroom from Fat Catfish, gonna go turn that in. Might do the fake powder before he turns it in. Looks like he's just gonna walk down and go straight to it though. And remember how this race seemed like it was almost assuredly over at one point? And then everything went SeedyV's way?
Yeah.
Jighart realizing that he did not check the mushroom on his way past, which he meant to do.
Well, since mushroom check is a blue to 2, so I think he'll do the fake powder first. Oh, the shovel! Yeah, the shovel!
Shovel's worth a check. Did Bob hold a sword? No, a piece of heart.
So SeedyV is doing right side. It's going to delay his big key, but we're going to see what Jighart missed.
Yep, if there's even 1 sword here, it greatly increases his chance. If there are 2 swords, that is, at that point, pretty much GG. First, we're going to get a fake powder check on the left side. He's waiting for that cape to drain his magic ever so slowly. Good old half magic, just in time. The map. Arcana Burna. Another mail upgrade. And a heart piece. So he did not miss a sword here. There's possibly one in Tile Room.
It's not a better, so we are looking at swords at Turtle Rock.
Yeah, T-Rock is looking pretty likely for him. Either that or the pure terrible luck of, you know, the double tablet or tablet and pedestal swords.
Looks like he's checking the tablet. Maybe?
Just to point this out to anyone in chat who has never raced this game, what is happening to Jighart right now is horrifying. Going through this as a runner, knowing that you should be done by now but you don't have a sword, oh my god, what if my opponent found a sword? This is an awful moment for him that is going to make it very tough to concentrate throughout the rest of this.
Graveyard Edge, we know it's a 300 up here.
Yep, this is not gonna be what he needs. He's checking a bunch of these little one-off locations at this point, which is, you know, maybe the best bet at finding something your opponent didn't, but I don't know, I feel like at some point you gotta make the risk of, let's just dive T-Rock and pray.
Mushroom, a big 20, waiting for him.
You can even tell his movement has gotten a little bit more erratic lately. That's where you can see that stress kicking in, and SeedyV is coming up on his big key. He's going to be entering the gauntlet before Jighart finds the sword. Seedy looking for an extra sword there. He's not going to find it. He's heading up to the gauntlet. Jighart is going somewhere. I don't know where yet. Okay, he's gonna go check Bombo's tablet. He can't get the item on here anyway, and if it's a sword, that's just worse news for him. This is the sign of tilt right here, when you're checking locations that you don't even actually have access to the item on there without getting what you're looking for first. He's just reading this tablet several times, giving it a couple of anger slashes. And here comes the T-Rock play as SeedyV is making his way to the gauntlet. This is gonna come down to the wire. Should be noted that Seedy is also going to have a much easier time in the gauntlet than Jighart did, due to having that Master Sword, due to everything but the red Zazax dying in one hit. He's going to get through here a lot easier, and probably keep in a better headspace. We are an hour and 49 minutes into the run, and there's no dot done yet, so he's got some concern sneaking in on his own. But little does he know what his opponent is going through. Jighart, why? Are you going back to GT? Are you gonna go check right side GT before T-Rock? Wait, where are you going? This is full on tilt right. Oh no, it's a magic refill. That makes sense. Although, to be fair, I feel like... No, actually that was the most convenient way to get magic back. Never mind. Okay, you're good, Jighart. You had me concerned there for a moment. But yeah, I was mostly confused because he's got blue potions in his pocket. Several of them, which he could have used to restore his magic right there. When you're this tilted at what's going on, you tend to try to make the faster plays. And that certainly wasn't the fastest play. To be clear though, I myself have made decisions that were slower because of tilt. So, it's nothing against him, it's just kind of, from the outside looking in without quite as much stress, as stressful as this has been, it was not the fastest choice he had. So SeedyV having his own struggles with Trolldorm. Trolldorm has been very successful in this particular race. And Jighart has the sword, he just needs to go to the pyramid and get there. He's gonna get to Ganon a little bit earlier than SeedyV, but far more tilted. If he can execute cleanly, this is his. If not, then it's gonna get very close. SeedyV gets a double on the first phase of Aghanim. 0 in round 2. Jighart is heading to the pyramid. Not the cleanest Aga SeedyV could have had, but he gets a double to end it. He is going to be falling into Ganon just behind Jighart. This is ridiculously close. Jighart falls into Ganon 153.10. SeedyV will not be far behind him. This all comes down to Ganon execution on a Master Sword Ganon fight. About 10 seconds differentiate them. No, about 13 seconds between them at the start of this fight. Okay, Jighart has a great position for phase 9 to get a couple hits in. Not as great in phase 1. Some cave strats here to get Ganon around. Should be about through phase 2. No, still needs a little bit more. Half magic is an advantage he has that SeedyV does not due to his Ganon's tower routing. SeedyV dealing with phase 2 in a phenomenal position. Jighart on phase 3, missing the second spin slash there. SeedyV missing the first spin slash on his end. In very rough shape health-wise, both of these runners are very concerned at this point. Jighart has 3 hits on phase 3. SeedyV still looking for his first. There it is. Jighart using that blue potion. Did you find the arrows in the Dark World? Yes, they did. He gets the first one in. 3 arrows to go. Almost gets hit by the bat. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, he got hit by it, but he didn't get knocked off. There's the second arrow. He's got the third one in. And there's the fourth one! And assuming nothing terrible goes wrong here, this should be GG for Jighart. SeedyV right behind him. Let's get a GG in the chat for Jighart and for SeedyV, who falls up right behind him. What a finish, what a race. Official times on SRTV. Jighart finishes at 1:55.28. SeedyV finishes at a time of 1:55.48. 20 seconds between them to finish that race. Wow. That was a fantastic race. One of the best I think I have ever had the privilege of commentating.
Yep, mine too. This is the first time I've seen commentate on this close.
Welcome back to my co-commentator Blastig, who is having some tech issues, as well as welcome to the conversation to our runner-up for this race, SeedyV.
Good morning to you.
Good morning and GG. You guys put on a fantastic show.
Yeah, GG, man. Good job. Moldorm strikes again, I guess. I kind of blundered this one, I gotta say. I didn't watch the last 15 minutes. I don't think I could see myself doing that. But, oh man, this seed. Oof.
We are also joined by the winner, Jighart. Welcome to you as well, and GG to you as well.
Hey guys, thank you very much. Let's never talk about that again.
I'm okay with that.
It never happened. That's fine.
Yeah, we just spotted you a win. I can fully, I'm a good sport.
Okay, so do you guys want a little bit of an idea what just went down there?
Well, me and Jig have kind of been sharing a few notes over the, the 15-minute delay period here. So I think I have kind of an idea here, but feel free to fill in.
Yeah, essentially, he went to Meyer super early, made the play, got the fire rod, got the bow, went through all the crystal dungeons, went up to GT, full cleared it, no sword, kind of was messing around by the final chest in the game a little bit, fell off. Moldorm then got him, I think it was 3 times before he got through, and then he went on a panic search around the world for Master Sword. All the while, you kept going in Meyer after getting that fire rod, got the second sword in there, and kind of steadily gained back your time while he was searching for a sword, up until entering Aghanim and entering Ganon about 13 seconds apart.
Yeah, those 2 falls to Moldorm kind of smart. I also blundered in Pod. I thought I didn't realize I didn't get the big key. Lost a lot of time there. But yeah, wow, I didn't realize the Meyer was so early. Meyer was basically the last thing I did, which yeah, that didn't feel too great at the time. But yeah, first sword for me at 50 minutes 26 seconds. Yeah, wow, that's a thing, for sure.
Well, speaking about that first sword, you guys found the mid in Tower Hera as your last location around the same time, and both of you looted away without doing the East Death Mountain stuff. That Dark Death Mountain stuff. So what's your thought process behind that?
Well, for me, I didn't have the means to kill Moldorm. I was still swordless. I think I didn't have any means to finish Moldorm at the time. So I don't know. I was just wanting to move on to other things. It was a pendant dungeon, and yeah, I'm not sure. I forget where I went to immediately. I think from that point I continued to. Oh gosh, I don't even remember where I was at that point. But I'm pretty sure I didn't have the means to kill Moldorm at the time. So that's what led me out of there.
You
Yes, same.
you guys both went to the Thieves Town portal. One went to the Outcast, one went to Skullwoods. I was asking about the Dark Death Mountain stuff, the east side, the one that requires the mid. The hookshot cave has the first sword.
Yeah, when you both left Hera, you kind of immediately flew away without hookshotting over to the other side of the mountain, checking the dark side of everything, which would have made both your lives a lot easier with that sword in there.
Oh, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah, I guess I was too crazy about, oh, finally, Dark World access, huzzah, and didn't think to check the East Side Death Mountain at the time, because I was really at my wit's end at that point, just getting access to the Dark World at that point, because still lampless, and I guess it was technically probably the last possible location it had to be, maybe, for any sort of progression. But yeah, it's memory's rather hazy on all this. It's been a rather traumatic 2 hours.
I would say kind of the same for me. Actually, I should have gone to Hera much earlier. It was a mistake on my part. I got flute and mirror, and that kind of screamed that something was up there. So I did Death Mountain early on, but I completely forgot Hera. So when I got the mitts, I was like, yeah, I missed something. I'll just go ahead, go do something else I can do, and I'll come back for Dark Death Mountain later.
Yeah, my initial Death Mountain, I completely forgot I had mirror and didn't even check up Spectacle Rock after searching the East Side Light World. So yeah, another mistake I feel I made in my routing, because that wasn't a conscious choice. That was just me forgetting I had the mirror. So whoops.
Jighart, I want to apologize in advance if you watched this back for my panicked calling for you to turn around when you were going to get magic out of Super Bunny Cave before heading into T-Rock. I kind of forgot you had no magic in the tension of that moment.
I kind of forgot until I saw the medallion. I was like, oops, this isn't gonna work. Fortunately, I realized that and I knew where to go, so it was okay-ish.
Yeah, the only thing that comes to mind is when I found Ether in left side Swamp Aurora, my heart just sunk. I was just like, oh god, it's going to be this, isn't it? So I don't know why. Unfortunately, I didn't act on that feeling and held off Meyer until like the very last possible thing. But when I saw that Ether and knowing it was both medallions, I was like, oh god, here we go. So, and what do you know? So at least there was silvers, I guess. There's that, I suppose.
Here, while we're here, you guys have your second race scheduled for a little bit later this week, correct?
Yep, 48 hours from the start of Game 1, Wednesday morning.
Excellent. So for those of you who are watching this one, I'm guessing the next race should also be really, really good. So you might want to tune in for that Wednesday morning.
I know I will.
I'm not gonna promise that this is gonna be the same seed. We never agreed to that. So if the same thing happens again, I think we'll just both forfeit and do another one. We'll see. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, if these are the seeds that await us in the bracket round, I'm fine with the first round bounce out at this point. Good lord. But GG Jighart, well played, and good luck in game 2.
To you as well. Hopefully we can get another very close race. I'm sure this was fairly entertaining for you, chat.
Alright, let's wrap things up here. So if you like what the great race just saw, remember to follow these two runners and the Speed Game Network and ALTTP Randomizer Network for hosting this tournament. The Speed Gaming to Game 3 and LTTP Randomizer to LTP Randomizer 4. And coming up in half an hour, we have Diane versus Parmy IRL on Speed Game 3. I'm Hugh Bliss versus Terry on Speed Game 4. 8 Ben versus Dustin at this channel, Speed Gaming.
Yeah, lots of great matches coming up. It's going to be, as every day of these brackets have been so far, a great day for watching Rando.
So I think plastic.
And I've been Mentos Mayonnaise, and our tracker has been Malagord, who did a great job for us all day.
And see you next race.